we've been talking about, the Pistons competing, Eastern Conference teams not liking them, but I kind of wanted to get like your perspective. I don't know how many games you've been able to catch, but do you think that the Pistons can honestly like really push for a playoff spot this year? We're, halfway through the season. They've been kind of like floating around 500. They're one game over 500 right now. You think this is a legitimate playoff team?
Well, they're 23-22 in the first half of that schedule was brutal. I mean, just looking at it right now, I had to pull it up. That first half of that schedule was pretty brutal. So right now, on this back side of things, I mean, let me just kind of look at what they have going on right now because, like you said, I'm just kind of getting back into the swing of the basketball. But I mean, you got Cleveland on Monday. That's going to be a tough one. I mean, so I think their next three games are going to be pretty tough ones. Cleveland, Indiana, Dallas. Those are going to be some tough games. But then after that, I mean, you got Chicago, Atlanta, Cleveland again, Philly, Charlotte, Chicago back to back. I mean, I think this next stretch between this January between February 24th stretch, I think that's where we're really gonna really determine what type of team, see whether they're a playoff team or not, because they have a lot of very winnable games, but they also have a couple of tough ones sprinkled in there. I think that Dallas game, I think Dallas can be beaten the way they're playing right now. Cleveland's going to be tough. I think Philadelphia is vulnerable. San Antonio, that could be a tough out. But yeah, that the stretch from tomorrow through February 24th, I think that will determine whether this becomes a playoff team. And I think if they're able to, um, I'll say if they drop no more than, let's say 5 games at most. If they drop no more than 5 games over that stretch, we can start thinking about this team making a push for the playoffs, not the play in. Because I think right now they're a shoe in for, unless something just drastic happens. I think they're a shoe in to be bare minimum a play in team right now. But if they're able to kind of like go through this next month, dropping no more than 5 games, I think you can start talking about them being a playoff team.
Yeah, I think so too. Especially if you look at their road record over the last 9 games, they're 7-2.
Yeah.
They're road warriors. I don't understand it. They play so much better on the road, and someone said that it's because the energy at LCA is not there, and you don't have Jared Goff chance. Which I was like, hey, maybe that's it. I don't know. But even Malik Beasley said that like we like going into opposing arenas and talking shit and like ruining their nights. Like we just like doing that. But I think if they like this week they have 4 games, 3 Central Division rivals. I think if they can end this week 2-2, would be an accomplishment. And that's kind of like what they've done throughout the season. They've only had one losing week, probably since November, since like you went to the Lions full time. Like they've been playing like 500 week to week. They had a streak where they won 5-0. Like if they have another streak where they're winning, 3, 4, 5 games in a row and kind of cement themselves like out of that play-in. I think this can be a playoff team. And you kind of look at the bottom of the East, Kory. There's not anyone I think that can jump them to like possibly like get more wins to them. I mean, like you look at the bottom of the East, it's pretty damn bad.
Yeah, just taking a quick gander at it right now, and I don't see Orlando, don't see Miami. And the thing is, I don't see Miami. They're about to lose Jimmy Butler. Hawks no, Bulls no. Philly, their season's pretty much over with. So I mean, Pistons are in a really good spot right now.
Yeah, I mean, I think who knows what happens at the trade deadline? Who
Yeah.
knows what kind of talent they add? If they get a veteran guard, that could be good for them. They get more shot creation, maybe a stretch four. I think that could really cement them, help them get into that top 6, because I think you kind of look at the schedule and you kind of look at the bottom of the East, and I think this could be a team that's not hosting a play-in tournament game. This could be a team that's hosting the 3 seed, which I think is pretty exciting because we really haven't had a good basketball team to talk about. It seems since like the Blake Griffin era, and even before that was like Stan Van Gundy's like second year, I believe. So it's been a minute since the Pistons have had like a good basketball team to support and root for.
Yeah, and this place is dying for a winner, so I can understand why people are waiting for they're wanting that big jump on the big jump. Go make a move. But I mean, the slow and steady approach for Detroit teams has always worked, and I just don't think that just I think right now they can make a playoff push as currently constructed. And I think if they do make them, will say this. I do think making a small move to bring in another veteran. Like I said, you got my mind thinking about the Bobby Portis. Like, okay, Bobby Portis adding a guy like that could definitely cement them in like 5 or 6, maybe sneak up to 4. But I'll say definitely 5 or 6. But I mean, if you're as currently constructed, they can make it. But I think if they're able to go ahead and sneak in another sneaky veteran at the trade deadline without giving up too much or giving up any young talent, then that'll be a solid move. I will say this, and hopefully he doesn't look at this and rake me over coals, but I also think you have to consider seeing what the market is for Tobias Harris at this point. Just to see what it is. Now that's not saying you trade him, because you got to, this is a guy that, did want to come back. This is a guy that does have his deal will be expiring next year. So maybe you still just want to keep him for next year when you're trying to make that jump at the trade deadline and a team is looking to get out of a superstars deal. Then boom, you have that chip right there in your back pocket. So, it's a lot of options they got, but again, staying on topic, they can make a playoff push as currently constructed. I would just say that adding the extra veteran may just increase their chances of getting out the first round.
Yeah, I mean, get your first playoff win since 2008. Like, Pistons fans they've been so patient. They're just so starving for a winner. Like, doing these podcasts a couple times a week, like it's amazing. Like when they win, man, like we do these post-game podcasts after every game, like around like 10 o'clock at night. You got like 50, 100 comments just waiting for me to start a podcast, start a live stream. Like they're just so hungry for a winner, and I love to see it.
You know what? I would say this. I think, and then again, not trying to bring them up, I think Lions fans were hungry for a winner. I think Pistons fans are hungry to see this team just restored back to its original glory, because this is still one of the few franchises that have at least three NBA championships. So the Pistons being this bad is not normal. I mean, again, when I did my interview with Isaiah Thomas, he just said the fact, to paraphrase it, the fact that we're looking at 30 games in a season as a bar of achievement for the Pistons is heartbreaking. So I think that's the real big thing. Is like we're not sitting up here saying that we're used to the Pistons winning the championship every year, but people are used to the Pistons being in the mix of the playoffs, and to see this team not have been in the postseason since 2019, it's odd. Even the Teal era had playoff appearances.
I think the standard, especially for Isaiah Thomas, the standard was always compete for the playoffs and give yourself a chance to win a championship.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And even like with Bill Davidson, when he did own the team, like the standard was to make the playoffs. Like making 6 straight Eastern Conference Finals was the standard here in the mid 2000s. Like Pistons fans expected to be in the hunt for the NBA championship every year. And since Tom Gores has purchased his team, there's been a lot of failures, a lot of coaching changes, front office regimes, missed draft picks, all that stuff. We're not going to harp on it too much, but I think if they come out the season and they win 40 plus games, I think that's where the standard should be with this team is like you have talent, you have a coach that wants to be here, you have a coach that is investing a lot of his time, energy, and effort with these young guys, not only on the basketball court, but as human beings at the end of the day. Like, there's no reason why these guys can't stack wins, stack confidence, and get better each and every day. Like, you look, Cade Cunningham's 23 years old. Like, your franchise player is 23 and he's putting up these type of numbers. It's insane. You don't have anything long term on your books. Like, you extended Cade, but like you got like Tobias on a 2-year deal. Malik's on an expiring. Who knows what happens there? Tim's on an
Gotta bring him back. Gotta bring him back. Sorry.
Yeah, that might be a little difficult, especially because they don't have his bird rights. So it's going to be really.
And he's going to get it back.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with the Pistons.
Yeah.
Hopefully, maybe he takes a hometown discount to stay here, but I doubt it. I've really liked him, and I know me and you were really early of calling Malik Beasley, which just like to pat ourselves on the back there. But
yeah.
Overall, I think to kind of like finish this topic, I think they can push for the playoffs, but it'll be really interesting to see what happens at the deadline. Be really interesting to see, like, can they keep this trajectory up of playing 500 basketball on a week-to-week basis.